What is up, guys? Ben Milliken here, back for Carl's Mystery Tackle Box. You know, if you follow bass fishing closely, you know that a lot of guys swear by the color red and orange during the springtime. And I mean, it's no secret. These two colors can absolutely load the boat, but conditions got to be right for them. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about the ways I like to deploy bright reds, bright oranges in the spring so you guys can go out and catch some more fish. Now, there's a lot of reasons, guys, you know, they claim that these bright red, bright orange baits work during the spring. And some of them I think are definitely true. Some of them I'm not really sure on. But let's kind of go through those. You know, I think the main reason people say that red and orange baits work during the spring is because crawfish turn a reddish orange color, a really bright reddish orange color. Now, this is a very, very common thought. I don't spend a whole lot of time flipping over rocks or digging through grass patches or anything like that. To go down and actually figure out if there's any truth to this, but it is something that definitely makes sense. You know, before those crawdads molt early in the year, they're around a lot of cold water. They definitely do, from everything I've seen, get a lot of orange and red in them. So that's factor number one that guys think they work. Factor number two that I think is the reason it works is, you know, in the spring, no matter what type of fishery you're in, whether it's a natural lake, a man-made lake like we're fishing today, there's a lot of runoff in the water. So when there's a lot of runoff in the water, that stains things up a lot. Bright oranges, bright reds, those colors work extremely well in off-colored water. They stand out a lot, and they just flat out get bit. You know, another reason I think that these red and orange baits get bit really, really well in the spring is a lot of times there's colder water, obviously, in the spring. As we come out of the winter, we get into that pre-spawn phase. There's cold water, there's off-colored water. And it seems like on a lot of those days, unless the water's ultra clear, those fish will react a lot better when they're not active, when they're lethargic, especially if you're throwing something like a crankbait or a lipless bait like we're throwing right now. They'll react so much better to a bright colored bait, whether that's bright red, bright orange, chartreuse, something like that. They just flat out gets bites. So there's two main methods that they're totally different from each other, but I like to deploy in the spring whenever the water's off color, water's cold, and I like to throw a red or orange bait. First one being a crankbait. And I know this is it seems off the wall when you're first getting started fishing to get out and throw a red or craw colored crankbait, because when I started I was like, well, aren't crankbaits supposed to imitate bait fish and minnows and bluegill and stuff like that? Absolutely, but they also can imitate crawdads very, very well. So what I'm looking for when I'm fishing them in the spring is what we got right back here behind us, and that is we got a bunch of grass moved up on the bank. We got a hump that comes up that's got some grass on it, which is an awesome place to throw a lipless crankbait. Obviously, you know, get it bogged down the grass, give it some good rips out of that grass, and as soon as it pops free, a lot of times that's when you're going to get your bite. Now, the other thing I like to look for in the spring is right back there. Man-made riprap, natural riprap, any type of rock cover. An absolutely awesome place to get out and throw a flat-sided crankbait, a medium diving crankbait, a wiggle wart style medium diver red crankbait. Those are absolutely key places to get out and throw these red cranks. So kind of at the other end of the spectrum, on days when it's a lot tougher, or maybe you don't have grass or riprap in your lake, I like to bust out something on a day like today, actually, where it's kind of bluebird conditions, and that's a Texas rigged orange crawbait or a red crawbait, something like that. And I work it, you know, in a similar manner. You want it down there in that cover. Right back here behind me, we actually have a mix of rock, a mix of grass right in this little, there's like a vein of it right here that's really, really good. I've caught a bunch of fish here in the past. And there's just that little bit of orange, a little bit of red. Even if you're throwing a jig, if there's 4, 5, 6 strands of orange in there, that can absolutely stand out, especially in that stained water. And they're absolutely killers in the spring. Now, somewhere I like to throw this bait is, you know, obviously around that rock cover, flipping grass and stuff like that. But I really like it on isolated rock piles and stuff like that in the spring on the way back to spawning coves. Back here behind me, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's a big cove off the main lake. The main lake's way back there out behind me. And so what I'm looking for here is rock and anything isolated on the way back. There's a couple rock piles like we're fishing right here. And those are the places those big females are gonna sit. They're going to rub their bellies against it to get those eggs loosened up and sit there on those rocks because they hold a lot of heat when the water is really, really cold. Whenever you're in a condition where it's really, really cold, you have a cold front come in, or if it's just flat, super cold. Like today, the water's 42 degrees. That's a great time to fish around hard cover like rock. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully I shared some tips on using red and orange baits during the springtime. They're going to help you guys get out and catch more fish. Remember, start off with the moving bait, rip this guy through grass, or if you got a square bill crankbait, a flat side crankbait, or a medium diving crankbait that's like a crawdad, bounce this guy around a whole bunch of different shallow bank rock cover. And then if the bite's really slow, tough conditions, and you need to get out and drag offshore, go find yourself some isolated rock piles, any type of hard bottom areas. Fish this orangish color craw, an orange colored jig, whatever that's really bright orangish red, and I think you're gonna load the boat this spring. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to go subscribe to Carl's Mystery Tackle Box. Catch you very soon. Out of here.